If you're still trying to decide who should be London's next mayor, you've not got long left. There are just 2 weeks to go until the mayoral election. And the first of two big decisions, of course, with the EU referendum not long after. Well, Simon Harris is at Westminster for us tonight. Simon.
Charlene, the date of the London mayoral election was set in stone years ago. The candidates from the main parties have been campaigning for months. But all of a sudden, there's another show in town. And with a cast list of familiar faces, the lines between the two are becoming blurred. When London's multitasking mayor took to the stage in Manchester almost a week ago, it was a clear signal. Boris Johnson is the star turn in the campaign to persuade voters to leave the EU.
Watch out, here we go.
But he's also involved in a campaign closer to home. The mayor can often be seen alongside the Tory hoping to replace him at City Hall. In London, the EU referendum and election for mayor have collided. And when it comes to Europe, the two mayoral frontrunners are on opposite sides.
Any candidate who thinks London's future lies outside of the European Union doesn't understand our city, doesn't understand the social benefits, the cultural benefits, the benefits to our security or the benefits to our economy.
I believe the biggest risk for London is not coming out of Europe or staying in Europe. The biggest risk to London is if London embraces what I think is an anti-business, hostile, aggressive and backward-looking agenda.
This is the fifth time Londoners have been asked to choose a mayor, but there's little evidence the campaign has captured the imagination of voters. None of the candidates is a household name, for now anyway. So is the election being overshadowed by the referendum?
I have to say the EU referendum is not proving that much of a distraction. I think most Londoners are pretty decided that they want to stay in the EU.
When you talk about the EU, you're talking about getting control of our borders, and that's vitally important as well for London when it comes to housing, when it comes to the infrastructure, when it comes to overcrowding.
Certainly my party, if you're pro-European, would you vote for someone who doesn't support being in the EU? And I think that's going through lots of people's minds at the moment, but it's not coming up as an issue on the doorstep.
Whatever the outcome 2 weeks today, both sides in the Euro debate will be looking to see if Londoners choose a pro or anti-EU mayor. And that's something we'll be exploring later this evening when my guests here in Westminster include the London MP and Cabinet Minister who doesn't see eye to eye with her boss over Europe.
On a personal level, we're all getting on absolutely fine. But yes, certainly it's an awkward situation. It's a matter of regret to me that I find myself on the other side of the debate to the Prime Minister and the government. But what we are talking about is whether this country becomes an independent, self-governing democracy again. It wasn't an issue I could dodge. I had to be on the Leave side. My conscience wouldn't let me be on the other side.
We'll also be talking to an MP, an MEP and a Baroness about all things EU. That's quite a lively discussion. So join me if you can for the late debate at 20 to 11 here on ITV. Charlene.
Look forward to it. Thanks very much, Simon.